This story seems impossible until you realize that it's already inside you. Have you ever seen something so small bring something so powerful to its knees? A mountain collapsing from a single drop of water. A tyrant silenced by a whisper. A king kneeling before a child. This is one of those stories. There was once a king. His presence filled the room before he entered it. His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be, because fear had already done the speaking. He had conquered nations, built temples in his name, and rewritten history to fit his reflection. But one day, he passed through a small village on the edge of his kingdom, a place where the dust didn't know his name, and the children weren't taught to kneel. As his chariot approached, the villagers vanished into their homes. Windows shut. Silence fell. But one child remained in the middle of the road, barefoot, unmoving, staring straight ahead. The guards shouted. The king looked down from above, curious. He stepped off the chariot and said, "Do you not know who I am?" The child tilted his head. "I do," he said quietly. "But do you?" The silence that followed was louder than any horn of war. Time stilled. The wind paused, and then something happened that no one, not even the wind, expected. The king stood still, his gaze locked with the child's, not in anger, not in command, but in confusion, then recognition, then silence. His hand, once raised to signal orders, fell slowly to his side. His breath trembled, not from weakness, but from something older than fear. He took one step forward, then another, and without a word, without a threat, without a single command, the king knelt. The world didn't clap. The guards didn't move. Even the dust seemed to hold its breath. And in that stillness, he bowed his head, not before the child, but before the truth the child reflected back to him, the truth he'd buried beneath titles, beneath walls, beneath crowns forged from silence. He wasn't kneeling to a child. He was kneeling to the mirror he had forgotten to look into. Power is rarely shaken by force. It crumbles when reminded of its own illusion. That child didn't resist the king. He simply existed without fear, without need to prove, without the noise. And in that presence, the king remembered a version of himself before the crown, before the war, before the mask. Sometimes, it's not who controls the room, but who can stand still within it, that holds the real power. There is a child inside you, and a king. One seeks validation, the other just sees. And when they meet, when you stop commanding the world and start listening to the silence within, you too might kneel, not in weakness, but in recognition. Not all power is loud, and not all surrender is defeat. Subscribe to Modern Oracle, where truth is rarely shouted, but always felt.